Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating corporate explainer. It's a story all about knowing exactly when to hold on to a business and, well, when it's time to just let it go. We're going to explore the incredibly high stakes world of mergers and acquisitions and look at the strategy behind why one of the absolute biggest names in medical tech is deciding to walk away from a massive piece of its portfolio.
To really grasp the gravity of what we're looking at, you just have to look at the numbers. 1,500 crore rupees. Let that sink in for a second. That is the massive valuation we're talking about today. I mean, this isn't just some routine corporate transaction. This figure right here is the ultimate financial prize in our story. When a number this staggering hits the open market, it's like a giant neon sign signaling that major strategic shifts are happening, and everyone is scrambling to grab a piece. It's the kind of number that demands attention.
So you're probably wondering, what exactly is commanding that insane 1,500 core price tag? Well, it's American Oncology. This highly coveted asset is officially up for sale. And let me tell you, when a major established player in the oncology space goes on the block, it presents a rare opportunity. Oncology is a critical, complex, and highly specialized sector of healthcare, right? And with aging populations and new tech, demand is literally skyrocketing. So grabbing an existing successful framework instead of trying to build one entirely from scratch, that is incredibly appealing for investors in rival companies. Let's move on and see how this builds, because every massive asset up for sale obviously needs a seller. Enter Siemens Healthineers. They are an absolute global powerhouse in medical technology and diagnostics. But their involvement immediately begs the question, why? Why on earth would a giant like Siemens want to part ways with something as valuable as American Oncology? The answer actually lies in the very foundations of modern corporate strategy and how massive conglomerates manage their sprawling portfolios to stay competitive.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact strategic dilemma companies like Siemens face every day, balancing the core business against the non-core business. Think of your core business as your engine. It's what you're known for, it's where your main innovation happens, and it's what drives your primary growth. On the flip side, your non-core business might still be super profitable. I mean, a 1,500 crore valuation proves that for sure. But it sits on the periphery. It's a bit like having a really nice sports car attached to a freight train. It's valuable, but it just doesn't perfectly synergize with the main engine anymore.
By definition, a non-core business is an operation or asset that just isn't essential to a company's main strategic focus. And it is absolutely crucial to understand this. Labeling something non-core is definitely not a sign of failure. Actually, scratch that. It's the total opposite of failure. It doesn't mean American Oncology is a bad business at all. Shedding a non-core asset is a highly deliberate, calculated, and smart move. It allows a parent company to stop splitting its attention. By cutting away the non-essential, a corporation can redirect all that capital and managerial energy back into dominating its primary market.
So the crucial point here is that Siemens Healthineers is intentionally walking away. They're making a strategic exit because American Oncology just doesn't align perfectly with their long-term focus anymore. They're essentially trimming the sails to make the main ship go faster. By targeting this massive exit, Siemens isn't just looking for a cash grab. They're actively streamlining their corporate identity. They're clarifying their mission for their shareholders and the market. It's a really aggressive move toward laser-focused efficiency.
But here's the fun part. A strategic exit for one company means a massive opportunity for others. The second Siemens signaled their intent to sell, the market responded instantly. We are now watching a fast-paced, high-stakes race unfold to acquire this newly available asset. Boardrooms are buzzing, analysts are crunching the numbers, and capital is being mobilized. Let's pivot from the seller for a second and take a look at exactly who is stepping into the arena to fight for American Oncology. All right, here is the landscape of our auction. 3 major players have stepped into the ring: GA, Renova, and CCA. These are heavyweights, bringing a mix of serious private equity capital and super aggressive healthcare expansion strategies. They've looked at that valuation and basically decided, yep, this fits perfectly into our own strategic vision. Each of these contenders brings their own deep pockets, their own market strategy, and very specific reasons for wanting to integrate American Oncology into their portfolios. Now, what's really interesting about this is that we're not talking about some quiet, behind-closed-doors transfer. This is an active, heated bidding war. Gaz entering the race and signaling strong intent. Renova is making a play, pushing right back against the competition. And CCA is competing fiercely for the exact same asset. When you've got 3 distinct, powerful entities locked in a battle like this, the tension just drives up the stakes. They aren't just competing on price, they're competing on who can close the deal the fastest and the strategic vision they can pitch to the seller. Which brings us to the ultimate question we have to ask today. Who actually wins the oncology race? In an auction like this, it's wild because victory doesn't always go to the one who just writes the biggest check. Nope. Often it goes to the contender who can offer the cleanest exit for Siemens. It goes to the entity with the most bulletproof financing and the fewest regulatory headaches. Just imagine the tension of this dynamic right now, as GE, Renova, and CCA all strategize on how to completely outmaneuver the others to secure this prize. So, what does this all mean? Well, the specifics of this transaction are definitely fascinating. The bottom line is what it tells us about the broader business world. This auction is a real-time example of the continuous reshaping of the healthcare industry. Capital is constantly flowing from companies refining their core focus to companies looking to aggressively expand their footprints. Siemens gets leaner and more focused, while whoever wins, whether it's GA, Renova, or CCA, instantly levels up their influence in the oncology sector. This constant shuffling, buying, and selling, it is literally the heartbeat of corporate strategy. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really chew on. If a mega organization like Siemens is willing to part with something as incredibly valuable as American Oncology just to tighten its strategic focus, who is next? Seriously, look across the landscape of global conglomerates. What other peripheral, non-core asset is sitting quietly in a mega corporation's portfolio right now, just waiting to be spun off? Which asset is going to trigger the next billion-dollar race? It's like a giant puzzle, and keeping an eye on these shifts is for sure the key to understanding where the market is heading next. Keep learning and keep your eyes peeled for those strategic pivots.